the usual topics we cover around business, HR, fundraising, startups. But I think that today's topic is extremely important and pertinent in terms of running an enterprise. And I think rarely you find this kind of knowledge, resources, and experts available like the ones we have today, Shri S.K. Sharma ji and Siddharth Macker. And I'm sure we all stand to gain a lot. Just to put the session into a bit of context, and then obviously we'll be guided by S.K. Sharma ji and Siddharth. As we all know that, and I know you all know that IMA has a specific focus on MSMEs and startups. If you purely look at numbers, for example, there are more than 65,000 odd startups. I was reading a report in India, and 7 or 8 million MSMEs. Although the definition of MSME also keeps changing in our country, but it's a significant base. And 1 out of 5 MSMEs slash entrepreneurs face challenges around compliances, but they rarely have resources, expertise available on demand to solve them. And many of time they're just simply ignorant, and they do not know that they're actually making a non-compliance, which is even a more serious aspect of it. And to put it into perspective, the whole complicated web of these laws is very difficult. You've got environmental laws, you've got labor registration laws, you've got Factories Act, you've got Gratuity Act, Construction Workers Act, Migrant Workmen Act, Contract Labor, EF, ESI, and whatnot, right? So it's very complicated for an entrepreneur who's just focusing on pursuing his or her vision and building the next big idea to be able to actually focus on and get the right expertise. Even in terms of the current situation, the whole definition, if you see the recent labor bill which is being put into parliament, the definition of what is a worker is getting changed. The definition of minimum wages, the amounts are getting changed. People are very excited about 4-day weeks uh, because there is a new covenant of possibly working 12 hours a day for 4 days, and you could manage 48 hours a week. And everybody is thinking that India is going to be the next Scandinavian country to be able to do that, right? So all these myths are there. People are not sure what it really means for them when it comes to running their business. Also, employee wellness and well-being is becoming a big thing now. So rules around people working in remote areas or sort of remotely working. What does it mean in terms of IP laws around the company? What does it mean for liability and insurance when something happens to them at their homes? Maternity and paternity benefits are being relooked at. Sexual harassment or POSH is a big focus area now. And it's very important that we look at it from a holistic lens to not really miss out on any of these compliances. So with this, I'm going to welcome our two speakers for the panel today, and I'll also tell you a little bit more about them, so you know we are in safe hands when it comes to these topics. So I'm joined today first by Mr. Siddharth Macker, who is an advocate, Supreme Court of India, and he has expertise in labor and employment laws, and he is also pivotal to orchestrating operations at SLCI. Mr. Macker has expanded his horizons over the years with his global experience, being on board of Infosys as the legal associate, and now he is helping and assisting numerous business owners and SMEs around risk mitigation and cost optimization related to specifically labor laws and compliance. And he's also the vice president of Association of Industries and Institutions, AOII, and is the editor of the monthly magazine Shakti Times India, which is a focused labor law magazine with outreach programs across India. A very warm welcome, Siddharth, to today's session. And we thanks. And our right, and our second esteemed panelist for today's session, Shri S.K. Sharma ji. Very warm welcome to you. He's a well-known authority when it comes to labor laws and compliance. He's also an advocate by profession, but he's been associated with so many organizations, local and MNC companies, promoting industrial peace and growth. He's got significant expertise of more than 3 decades in labor laws and in IR specifically, and he has been contributing towards training and coaching all around labor law and statutory compliances as well, which organizes programs on labor-related laws like maternity benefits, ESI, Apprentices Act, Anti-Sexual Harassment and Workplace. He's been an active member of the Central Board of Trustees, CBT, and EPFO, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India. He also holds the position of National General Secretary at the Association of Industries and Institutions, AOII. And apart from holding these reputed positions, he is also the Vice Chairman of Advocate Welfare Association and Justice and President of Shakti Educational and Cultural Society. He has also been involved in a lot of philanthropic activities. He's co-hosted the Yamuna Trophy Cricket Organization tournament. He's also been an active supporter and promoter of the mission of Clean Delhi, Green Delhi. He's also been gracing the position of National Commissioner of Hindustan Scouts and Guides and is committed to development of young children. He's the editor-in-chief of the labor law magazine Shakti Times India and a senior member of the editorial team of Labor Law Reporter. And he was recently awarded as well on the Constitution Day in presence of Honorable Cabinet Minister Law and Justice and the Honorable Chief Justice of India for his well-written volumes on legal issues by the Supreme Court Bar Association. With this, a very warm welcome to you as well, S.K. Sharma. We are so honored and privileged that you could spare your precious time and spend this evening with us talking about serious issues and upcoming regulations around labor law and compliances. So I want to start with you, S.K. Sharma ji, in terms of your wealth of expertise around this area. How do you see startups and MSMEs evolving and interplaying with when it comes to labor law and compliances, and how the overall compliance framework, has it become easier? Has it become more complicated to navigate through? And what would be your advice to entrepreneurs who are both starting up and who are beginning to scale up to manage these compliances? S.K. Sharma ji?
Yeah, just yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you, Kartik. Thank you so much. So I'm really I'm so delighted to have this session here. So because it's as you have mentioned, the entrepreneurs here are really want to understand the compliance part of it, and it's my passion. And because being young, so I feel like working with young people like you. So absolutely, and because मेरा एक मानना है कि business entrepreneurs, they really want to make compliances, but somehow they are not aware of the compliances, what to do, how to do it. It is absolutely unintentional. So dealing with the industries for the more than 3 decades, this is exactly I understood. They want to make compliances. They are really concerned about the workers working with them. And आज का जो टॉपिक है, मैंने इसको बहुत डिफरेंट रखा है जो आपसे मेरी कल चर्चा हुई, डिस्कस हुआ. So we just were discussing कि the new labor codes are coming. I just wanted to give कि 5 क्या नई चीजें, मैं 5 क्या ऐसे पॉइंट्स सेशन में डिस्कस करूं जो वैल्यू ऐड करें सबके लिए. एंड टेक अवे शुड बी वेरी क्लियर कि छोटी स्मॉल थिंग्स जो कंप्लायंस की होती है, इट कैन रियली मेक ए बिग डिफरेंस. सो मैं आज इसका स्ट्रक्चर हम बिल्कुल सिंपल रखेंगे. इट विल बी वेरी सिंपल लैंग्वेज. आई विल नॉट यूज एनी टेक्निकल लैंग्वेज. माय कमिटमेंट to you all is कि whatever you have invested your time here, and you must get your value of the time from this. So now I will start. Yeah, just a second. Kartik, so we have a group. We are from which place? Like we have business owners from different part of country. Is it like that?
Yes, we have people coming in from tier 2, tier 3 cities as well, people from metros. Okay. We've got startup entrepreneurs. We've got people who are running larger businesses. We have people from manufacturing, services, independent professionals. So we've got a whole suite of audience for you, sir.
Wow, that's very nice, very nice. Different part and different. So we are, if I could, if I just put it like this. So in this group, we have a manufacturers, consultancy companies are also there, service industry, school, colleges, hospitals, trading, logistic, retail, builders, NGOs. So we have got from all business, all type of business owners or service industries are here in this group. So you are at the right place. Everybody is going to get the value of the time. Now, so to start with, because everywhere we have been understanding the new labor codes are coming. You see social media and the news. So now let us understand what exactly these new labor codes are. Basically, there are 4 labor codes. First is code on wages. It was enacted in 2019. Their code 2020 was enacted. Social Security Code 2020 was enacted. Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code that is also was enacted in 2020. So ये चारों code जो enact हुए. So and now let me make the context clear कि ये आज के जो topic होगा हमारा, मैं इन चारों code में से I will give you a secret out of each code and एक bonus भी होगा. 4 code हो गए. And POSH के ऊपर भी I will give you the nut crack. I will give you the one secret which every business owner must understand and they should also take away that. The new codes are a demand of the changing time. And changing time के हिसाब से, because labor laws is a very, very big subject. There are hundreds of labor enactments, center enactments, state enactments, and which was enacted in different time. You see the Workmen Compensation Act, it was enacted in 1923. The Factories Act was enacted in 1948. Industrial Employment and Standing Orders Act was enacted in 1946, prior independence. So labor laws, there are different act was enacted in different time. Now the time has changed. These acts are not relevant. So and these acts are not relevant definitely, and changing the balance draw करने के लिए the central government just to draw a balance of industrial welfare and labor welfare. इन्होंने balance draw करने के लिए out of 29 जो enactment at present enactment है उनको summarize करके 4 codes were made. अब question आएगा कि why these codes were made, and as you know that कि क्यों introduce हुए and how will this transition affect our business. Very, very important. What is the quantum of transitions we are looking at? How is the new wage salary structure going to be implemented? Because it's not salary structure, they have just taken care of that also. And what is the ESIPF contribution going to increase, or what is the impact of that? Is there any change in the exit policy? What is that? Will the gratuity contribution or component will go up? So that is also a big concern here. Are the inspections going to be more frequent, or how is the system mechanism? What is the compliance part of it? Are these and what will be the penalties now? That is also very important. Are the appointment letter mandatory? So there are a lot of questions which are coming up in the minds of the business entrepreneurs time to time, and absolutely these concerns are valid concerns. If you look into these all questions, maybe other questions also. So all these to avoid multiplicity of law. As you just mentioned, the definition of workman in each act is different. Definition of wages is different. So there is an ambiguity. And it's a big confusion. So just to avoid that, to avoid the multiplicity of the law, this is the reason, one of the reasons.
I think sir is joining
Kartik,
back.
I think there's some connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Siddharth, do you want to continue in the meantime?
Just 1 minute. I'll just share my screen.
Sure. But I think it's really interesting for a layman like me, the way sir has described it into 4 buckets. It's really simple to understand. Oh, sir is back. Sir, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry, I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Kartik, I'm audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Loud.
So now there is a then to create uniformity, to curb this factor, that is very important concern of government of India also. They really want to curb the inspector Raj, and of late you would have also faced inspection which were theoretical inspection in ESI, profit in front of the labor law, labor enactment, which were in area concept there. So that is abolished. Only the inspections are being conducted in case of any complaint or any reason, because ESI provident fund inspections are being monitored at the ministry level. They have got some parameters for that. Hello, Kartik, there is a little challenge of the net challenge. So, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. One of the options is that maybe you can switch off your video and we can see if that makes it better. If it's okay, we can try once.
Okay. So we can, so these are the reasons. And now, easy.
Yeah, Siddharth, are you there? Siddharth, are you there?
Yes, just 1 moment. I'm sharing my screen. Mr.
Sure.
Sharma is here with me. So I will
Perfect.
present my screen so the network challenge is. Just give me 1
Okay.
moment, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if the audience members have any specific query around compliance, maybe in their own business or general, they're curious about some new labor codes which are coming in, you can put in your questions here and also add a bit of detail. Like I see Joydeep, she is asking around when's the date of change for the labor codes? Is it 30th June? So such queries, if you have, you can write down here, and then sir will take it up after his presentation.
Yes.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Reasons थे कि new code आए, and absolutely it is a very practical reasons. And now अब ये समझना important है कि now what constitute the new codes. That is also very important. Reasons you understood why and now what. If you look into it, because out of, as I mentioned, code on wages, there are 4 acts. Minimum Wages Act, 1948, it was enacted 1948. You can see that. Payment of Wages Act, it was enacted 1936. You know, and Payment of Bonus Act, it was enacted 1965. Equal Remuneration Act, all these 4 acts together and made this code on wages. So, because if you will see the definitions of these 4 enactments, so it was a big confusion. So, code on wages, after the implementation of code on wages, the 4 enactments will be repealed. Likewise, the Industrial Relation Code 2020. There is an Industrial Dispute Act 1947, Trade Union Act 1926. It was enacted in 1926, pre-independence. Industrial Employment Standing Orders 1946. That is also pre. After the implementation of this code, you can understand then when these acts were enacted in 26, there was a different time altogether. Maybe we are talking about 100 years. So क्या parameters होंगे, क्या system होगा, क्या culture होगी, working style क्या रहे होंगे. So it is not practical at all. Working conditions क्या होंगी, क्या priorities रही होंगी. So these are the reasons कि वो act अगर आज implemented है, so absolutely there is a big gap. The government was really concerned about that, and this act, after the implementation of this Industrial Relation Code 2020, all 3 acts, they will be repealed. Next. Now you can see there is a Social Security Code 2020. This, after the, this Social Security Code 2020, there are 9 acts. You can see that I've mentioned it here, which includes, Employees Compensation Act and Employee ESI, Child Workers Welfare Fund Act 8081, likewise in the Payment of Gratuity Act, Maternity Benefit Act, BOCW Act, Provident Fund. So all these acts, after the implementation of the Social Security Code, these acts will be repealed. So ultimately, 3439. Now, there is another act that is called Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code 2012. And you can see that. Now, how it was constituted, the maternity benefit 1961, Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2008, Payment of Gratuity Act, Factories Act. No, sorry, these are acts not there. Factories Act, Working Journalists, Working Mines Act, Sales Promotion Employees Act. These all acts which are mentioned here, that is all 13 acts. And now, after implementation of this Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code 2020, all these acts enactment will be repeated. So in a way, 29 enactments which are applicable to almost all industries will be compressed, or will be the 4 code will replace it. So there is a uniformity, the definitions are aligned, and whatever we discussed reasons, because they were enacted in different time, the independence also, and that that's for different time, reasons for different, so which are not practical today. So after implementation of these acts, 4 codes, 29, it will be very practical. There will be ease of doing business. Hello?
Siddharth, are you
Hello?
there? Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Yeah. So now the different state governments, they are also notified the rules. Majority have notified. Maybe now they are taking there also, because there is a procedure. State government has to draft the rules. Their majority has drafted the rules. So now the government is working it. The government is really working it out, how they can implement it. Maybe in parts, maybe of two of the code first, and the working, and then formalizing these schemes, how
Siddharth, maybe you can send me the presentation. I can share it if you want. You can send it to me. I'll share my screen, and
Hello.
then you can. Yeah, Siddharth, are you there?
yeah, so there is a net issue in the whole area basically today. I don't know, there is some
There's
problem
some
issue here
bandwidth failure.
in the whole area. We are just
Okay.
doing it with on the mobile.
Oh, so you can maybe send the presentation to me if it's possible. Then I can share on my screen.
Okay, I just send it to you.
All right, Kartik. I'll just do that.
And in the meantime, we can pick up some questions. SK Sharma ji, like they talked
Yeah.
about, is 30th June the cutoff date for the new labor codes to come in, or is it still in process?
The government is really considering and looking into a different aspect, and the date has not yet been finalized, but they are definitely working it out. And you can't say there is an official declaration of implementation of 1st July, but definitely government is working it out seriously, and let's see what comes out.
Kartik, is my screen visible now? Can you see the presentation running?
Hello?
Not really.
All right. All right.
And also the other thing in the meantime, you can talk
Yeah.
us through, sir, that with this remote working coming into place, would that mean that one has to relook the compliances? Because if people are permanently working from home and not coming to office, does that impact an entrepreneur in some way for their compliances, or it doesn't make any real difference when it comes to labor compliance?
See, as you mentioned, if somebody is working from home, so what kind of compliances are required in that case? Isn't it like that? If I rightly understand that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If somebody is working permanently from home,
Absolutely.
does it have any impact on my labor compliance?
Yes, because this after this COVID, first time the work from home concept has come up, and this has got some, because in the this IT industry have taken a benefit of it, and there's really have gone to different level, and it has got certain problems also now. So in that case, the government is also working a policy, work from home policy, certain benefits, because the transportation is not being given to the employees, definitely not. But the employees are also incurring certain expenses on their internet, and duty hours are also flexi in a way sometimes. So this is also uncomfortable also for their health and all. So government is formulating a scheme on it, because new situation has come up, and let's see what come out of it. They are considering the working hours, how to do it, how to organize it, and what will the condition, what will be the leave components to that. So that is the point. Yeah, but definitely something will come on it, this also.
Understood. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we can see the PPT. Yes.
Yeah. देखिए, now as now we'll take the code on wages. अभी 4 कोड का भी डिस्कस की कैसे होगा कोड ऑन वेजेस का. I just mentioned it कि what is the secret here, जो important point which I'm just mentioning it for the session, the concept floor price is coming first time here. Concept of floor price is being introduced first time in the code on wages. What is that? Because central government will declare a floor price, and you know that minimum wages are being declared by the state government, different state government, different, because they have got their mechanism of declaring the minimum wages. But that minimum wages cannot be less than the floor price declared by the central government. So that is a new thing which is coming in this code. Another thing is the highly skilled category, which were not there earlier, is also being introduced in the code on wages first time. Pehle kya tha? Unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled. Now highly skilled category is also being introduced first time. At claim on wages, earlier what was happening, existing, we can say, now if an employee is less than the wages, उसके पास राइट क्या था कि वो अथॉरिटी के पास जाए, मिनिमम अथॉरिटी के पास, और 10 times का क्लेम फॉर द लास्ट 6 months क्लेम करे. नाउ दिस पीरियड इज इंक्रीज टू 3 years. मैं आपको इसके आगे एग्जांपल देके आई विल मेक दिस क्लियर आल्सो in the next PPT. And now the provision of minimum wages shall be applicable to all, irrespective of whether they are come under the list of scheduled employment or not. Minimum wages was only applicable on the scheduled employment. Now the schedule is abolished. It is applicable to all categories, whether scheduled employment term is finished now, you can see. Let's see. Now, अब मैं आपके साथ शेयर करूंगा कि एग्जैक्टली बिकॉज जैसे मैंने आपको कहा कि नॉन कंप्लायंस किसी का भी पर्पस नहीं है, लेकिन नॉन कंप्लायंस का इंपैक्ट क्या आता है कि वी आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस अगर हम समझें. सो यू कैन सी फ्रॉम अ वेरी स्मॉल एग्जांपल, स्मॉल थिंग्स, लाइक आई जस्ट गिव यू एग्जांपल. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम नॉट अवेयर, मैंने एम्प्लॉय को unskilled दिखा दिया, and he is a semi-skilled or skilled. Let us take an example कि employee was paid 1,000 rupees, he was paid short amount. Existing law जो as per the provision of Minimum Wages Act 1948, employee has got a liberty to file a case before the authority under the Minimum Wages Act, and he can file 10 times. If 1,000 rupees are paid less, then he can file 10,000 rupees instead of 1,000 rupees, and retrospectively piche he can go for 6 months. So total claim he can file for 1,000 rupees if paid 1,000 rupees less. So he has the option to file a claim against an establishment of 60,000 rupees. Now let us understand. As per the new code, what is going to happen? For this small mistake, an employee who was paid 1,000 rupees short can file a claim maximum for the last 3 years. So that is for 3,60,000 amount he can file. So intention is very clear. We don't want to pay less. Exactly, we have to follow the law of the land. Whatever the minimum wages are being declared by the state time to time, every business owner has to follow that. Every establishment has to follow it. So my request to all is kindly look into that. What are the minimum wages of the state? Whether we are paying that. If it is, absolutely clear. Great. And that is not the intention also. Next. Next, look at the Industrial Relation Code 2020. What is new in that? And you know that fixed term employment is introduced in this. I'm audible?
Yes,
Kartik,
sir.
I'm audible?
Yes. We can hear you perfect.
Please, thank you. Fixed term employment term has been introduced, but it's simple सी theory है. उन्होंने बोला है कि fixed term employment तो है, but he will be entitled, or she will be entitled, which other permanent employee is entitled for. So if you look into that, then if we keep somebody for a year or two for fixed term, in that case, the liability of the establishment towards the payment of gratuity act will be there. The gratuity liability, even after working for a year or two, will be, that will be imposed on the company. So that is an additional liability, we can say. He has to be paid the wages as being paid to the permanent employees. So there cannot be any disparity. So all benefits to an employee will be given as per the provisions and including gratuity. Now, if we compare the old law with the new law, so let us understand, as per the old law, which is existing as on date, until unless the new codes are not implemented, it is existing, or we can say the old law. As per the old law, the public utility services, if there a strike call has to be given, then 2 weeks notice to be given in the public utility service. You will see in the new code, 14 days notice, in 2 weeks notice will be for everybody in every establishment, and that notice will be valid for 60 days. In a way, the government is very serious about the strike, and they want to, in a way, they want to keep a check on the strike. So that's not the solution. So exactly, so that is in industry friendly, we can say that. Further, strikes are prohibited during the pendency of the proceedings. If the proceedings are pending in the tribunal or the conciliation machinery, so it is prohibited. Now, important thing is, if you can see the prior clauses. Earlier, in case of an industrial establishment, we had 100 or more employees are employed, only the permission is required. Now they have raised this limit to 300 people. So that's a good thing for the industry. Now, the new thing has come, the retrenched workers. In case of retrenchment, in the earlier law, in the old law, re-employment, there was no limit. Like I give you an example, it is better to give you an example on this. Let us say I've got 10 people extra in my system, my company. I have retrenched these people. Retrenchment has a different procedure. First, for last in first go, and the compensation has to be paid, amount has to be paid on the same day. So there is उनका एक procedure है. We have, everybody has to follow the procedure. Now, if in case after a certain period, out of 10 posts which I retrench, 4 posts are created, then I have what I need to do as an establishment. I have to give offer to these out of 10 people. Senior employees has to be given offer. Yani offer has to be given to these people. As per the new law, re-employment opportunity if occurs after a year, you can employ fresh employee. No opportunity, or employer is not in obligation to give priority or a choice or a obligation to give employment to already retrenched employees. So that is a good thing also. A new thing has come, reskilling fund. This is there in the new. Now it is there, if the employee is being retrenched, so he has to given 15 days wages, so that if he's being retrenched, so said he should reskill his reskill allowance is there, so that he should update himself for becoming employable. Now, this is very important thing. This is secret too. If I look into it, it's a very. This is a case was reported. Ye dil mange more. Here is a case. A manager who was, for the procedural lapse, he was terminated by a company. He was a senior manager. The court has given the judgment against the company, and he was reinstated with full back wages. He was getting a salary of maybe about 53,000 something, and the company has paid more than 1 crore. Still 1 crore 7,73,736. Still his right is there. So here is a important point which we have to understand, why this case happened, what is the reason behind this, what is the procedural lapse we are not aware of. So please I just tell you, an employee who has worked, who has served in establishment for 240 days is a permanent employee. He cannot be terminated without the process of law. So please make sure, the takeaway for everybody is, please make sure there should not be any procedural lapse. Otherwise, it will be very costly affair for the establishment. And the procedural lapse, what kind of procedural lapse are there? Employee is being, terminated without holding inquiry where the charges are leveled against him. See, there is a procedure again. You have to talk to your legal expert on this, how to go about that. And very interesting case happened. One of the establishment, he just discussed with me, see, we terminated in the last occasion also. Oh, nothing happened. Maybe by chance nothing happened. The employee has left for his native place. He has not appeared in the court. No dispute award was given by the court. That's okay. But the next case, this employee had defended and everything was there, and he was penalized a lot. So my point is, if something somebody is having, some establishment is having that experience, nothing happened, so that's a good thing. But please always look into that. All procedures, whatever the systems are there, due process of law, kindly implement that, and we should learn from the mistake of others. Now, let's see the Social Security Code. What is new in that? Achha, Social Security Code mein, if you look into the ESI, it's very important because normally ESI is viewed as a tax, isn't it? Yeah. So normally ESI is viewed as a tax. One of the establishment asked me, we have kept this employee salary is 20,500. So let us do one thing. Let's increase the salary to 21,100. The purpose is he should be out from the ESI. Here I would like to request you to please look into that. ESI is one of the best scheme available in the world. What I'm saying, it is one of the best scheme, and it is not voluntarily. It is a compulsory scheme applicable, meant for the weaker section of society. So just to avoid ESI, please don't avoid the ESI. Let us understand the benefits of ESI first, which I think some of my friends are not aware of the benefits. Now let's see what are the benefits. First of all, it is applicable to employees, and it is not an optional scheme. It is a compulsory. If I got 9 people, I want to opt ESI, I cannot. If I got 10 people, only I can go for the scheme, and I can take number and I can make compliance. And it is a compulsory scheme. It's not my child choice. Eligibility: employee who is getting salary of 21,000 is entitled to be a member of the insurance ESI scheme. Contribution employee ka bada nominal hai 7.5, and employer contribution is 3.25. Very nominal contribution. Let us see, after paying this contribution, what are the benefits available to us. Medical benefits for the employee and his family. Sickness benefit: if he falls sick, salary will be deducted from the company and he will be paid by the ESI. Although the rates are not full rates, but whatever the rates are there, that will be compensated by the ESI. And maternity benefit: this is very important, and kindly check in your establishment also if you have a woman employee. If the woman employee before the date of delivery, and woman employee has served 90 days, then she is entitled for 6 months salary. If ESI is applicable, this amount will be paid by the ESI. ESI is also relaxed it. They have made it, instead of 90 days, they have relaxed it to 78 days. If the woman employee have worked 78 days, contribution has been paid during the preceding 1 year, she is entitled for 6 months salary. Otherwise, this has to be paid by the company where she is employed. Disablement benefit: during the course of the employment, if some accident happened, then employee, and if the permanent disablement or partial disablement is there, then employee will get a pension for throughout the life. Otherwise, under the ESI scheme is not applicable, then under the Employees Compensation Act 1923, the establishment of the company has to pay that. Dependent benefit in case of accident, death, so ESI will pay that pension to the family. Funeral expenses will also be borne by the ESI. So these are the benefits. There is another very important case I would like to quote here. I can say it in a secret 3. ESI, as I mentioned, is an excellent scheme and it should not be viewed as a tax. I mentioned a case of Gurgaon where a poor lady, she was employed as a helper in a garment industry. Some, severe problem developed, heart problem. And as she went to ESI hospital referred her to the Medanta, because they have all big tie-up where the benefits are not available. And if she's entitled, they immediately refer to the hospitals. Medanta, there was a bill of 28 lakhs ESI has paid to that poor lady, and she was having that all operation of she developed a different kind of problem, and ESI has borne all the expenses. So that is a benefit. This is this is not available anywhere. Now we look into the point 4, also secret 4, we can look into it. You have been depositing your ESI provident fund well in time, I'm sure. And in one of the garment exporter of the Oakland area, I will not name it, he just sent me a letter कि sir, कि this is what happened with us, कि we have been penalized by the income tax authority, and they have add on our profit and total liability they have imposed us on 2 crore something. So what is that? So I just discussed, because what was missing there, they were depositing the contribution well in time. Last date is 15th. They were depositing 16th, 17th, sometime day or two extra they were taking for that. So my invitation to all of you is, kindly look into that. Check your company, check your establishment whether the contribution is being paid on or before 15th. Rather, I would like to say, आप deadline 12 ही लगा दीजिए. Because sometime what happened, last days, this system is, portal is not working properly, there is a rash, or your person has not come, or some other reason. So please make sure to avoid this penalty, pay before time. And I'm sure you must be depositing. Just for this, I just want to share, to make sure it is being deposited well in time. Now, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition Code. Now, what is available in this code? And the registration is verified now. One registration is there. Now, employer of an establishment shall register electronically under single code. That's a great achievement. We need not to go for different kind of registration, CLRA, then factory license, different kind of authorities. No way. One registration, that's a very good thing. Now, the appointment letter, it was not mandatory. Only under shops and establishments, the appointment letters were mandatory. Now the appointment letters are mandatory under this OSH also. Code make it mandatory for the organization. Appointing the workers to provide them in letter appointment. At a letter appointment, maybe not two-three चीजें बहुत important है. Only make sure there is a clause of the transfer. Retirement clause is there. If retirement clause is not there, you can't retire. That's a problem. Make sure the retirement clause is there, transfer clause is there. So there are certain important clause you must get it vetted. So that all the important clause are there. Now, new code may there is encashment of leave. Earlier under the old law, encashment of leave was only after the employee when he was leaving the job. Now it is there. Every year employee can get entitlement and the leave will be encashed. That is 15 days per annum. So that's there. That is only leave with wages, privilege leave, not casual leave. So that is also there. Now there is the POSH, prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace. Now over to Siddharth. Now you please. Yeah, sure. Over to you.
So thank you so much for sharing these wonderful insights. I think they were really impeccable. So prevention of sexual harassment. Prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. So India में जब हम sexual harassment की बात करते हैं ना, so there is a lot of taboo around it. People get uncomfortable talking about sexual harassment and they go in a zone. Comfortably बात नहीं कर पाते, एक zone में चले जाते हैं. So इस brief overview से जो purpose है, वो purpose ये है कि आपको पता चले कि sexual harassment क्या होता है and act के अंदर क्या-क्या compliances lay down की गई. So let's move on. This is absolutely a very, very sensitive topic. So what is sexual harassment as per the law that has been laid down in 2013. जब एक निर्भया केस हुआ था, आप सबको पता होगा निर्भया केस के बारे में. उससे पहले there were merely guidelines that were there. It was in 2013 that the law was laid down. So what is sexual harassment? As we can see that any unwelcomed or unwanted action that may be direct or implied, which is of sexual nature, which causes discomfort, humiliation, distress, and interferes with the job. So now I would request all of you to divert your attention to this image that you see on the right side of the screen, wherein you would be seeing that the male employee is leaning towards the female employee, wherein the female employee is feeling discomforted, humiliated, as it is very clearly visible from her facial expressions. The act seems to be unwelcome and unwanted. There is clear violation of physical space. If you can see the male employee's hand on the shoulder of the female employee, and it is interfering with her job. So these are very clear indicators and constituents of sexual harassment. So moving forward, एक्ट के अंदर एक इंटरनल कंप्लेंट्स कमेटी का प्रोविजन दिया गया है. ये क्या होती है? जहां पर भी हमारे 10 एम्प्लॉइज होते हैं वहां पर हमें इंटरनल कंप्लेंट्स कमेटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करनी होती है. सो लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड कि इस कमेटी का पर्पस क्या है. इस कमेटी का पर्पस है टू हैव अ वेरी स्पीडी प्रोसेस, बिकॉज इट इन्वॉल्व्स द मॉडेस्टी, डिग्निटी, so it will be very confidential. There has to be a specific grievance redressal mechanism and system available at all times to the employee in the establishment, and इसीलिए laws ने, courts ने इस ICC committee पे बहुत जोर दिया. It ensures that there are regular and timely checks at the organization level itself. So this is why the IC committee is instrumental in the law of prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. So moving forward, let us understand कि इसका constitution कैसा होता है IC का. So let us look at that, because the act provides very clear definitions कि इस IC committee में कौन रह सकता है. So this IC committee, जो internal complaints committee है हमारी, इसके अंदर जो chairperson होती है, it has to be a lady who should be from a senior staff. It cannot be somebody from a junior staff. This ensures that there is no biasness that comes into the picture. So the chairperson should always be a senior staff lady. Then there should be 2 employees who should have either legal knowledge or experience in social work related to women empowerment. Moving forward, an external member who can be from an NGO or an association, or it could also be a lawyer. But the main thing which I would like all of you to focus upon is that at least 50% of this committee has to be females. इसमें 50% जो हमारी कमेटी का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, it has to be constituted by women employees. ठीक है? And after every 3 years, this committee is dissolved and a new committee is appointed. This ensures transparency, ताकि there is no biasness, and ट्रांसपेरेंसी रहती है डेफिनेटली. हर 3 साल बाद जब एक कमेटी डिसॉल्व हो रही है, इट इंश्योर्स एम्प्लॉइज का भी कॉन्फिडेंस बना रहता है दैट द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इज लुकिंग आफ्टर आवर इंटरेस्ट. ठीक है? सो अगर हम इसको होलिस्टिकली समझने की कोशिश करेंगे, प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर हमारी फीमेल रहेगी, जो एक्ट में बहुत क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है. 4 में से 2 एम्प्लॉइज, जिसमें से एक तो हमारी प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर हो गई, एंड एक और हैज टू बी अ फीमेल. द एक्सटर्नल पर्सन कैन बी अ मेल और अ फीमेल, एंड जो एक और मेंबर हमारा बचा, दैट कैन आल्सो बी ईदर अ मेल और अ फीमेल. I hope I have made myself clear. Now moving forward, so let us look at compliances कि act में क्या-क्या compliances दी गई. So it is very important and pertinent to have a drafted POSH policy. और सिर्फ draft करना ही नहीं, employees को sensitize करना भी उतना ही important है. So it is very important that we get this policy vetted as per the amendments that are provided by the Supreme Court, High Court. जो भी amendments आती हैं, हम इसको incorporate करके time to time. Then there is an annual return that is filed to the DM. ये साल के एंड पे जाती है. ये फाइल करनी भी उतनी ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जितनी इंपॉर्टेंट हमारी पोस्ट पॉलिसी है, बिकॉज ये कंप्लायंस, रेगुलेटरी कंप्लायंस है, स्टैट्यूटरी लॉ है. देन ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द आईसी कमिटी. सो दिस ट्रेनिंग शुड बी डन क्वार्टरली. ये क्वार्टरली ट्रेनिंग होनी चाहिए. हमें अपने मिनट्स बनाने चाहिए, जिसमें हमें हर बार मिनट्स में ये मेंशन करना चाहिए द मेंबर्स हु अटेंडेड इट, द चेयरपर्सन हु वाज देयर इन द कमिटी, एंड क्या क्या डिस्कस हुआ, अगर कोई इशू आया उसको किस तरीके से हमने डील किया. Sensitizing employees on the subject, I have emphasized on this enough, and I am again going to say that this is extremely important, that everybody in the establishment respects the ladies, respect the women employees, and they are sensitized on the subject. Then as per the act, हमें abstracts display करने होते हैं POSH के, जिसमें हम conspicuous places में जो भी हमारी IC कमेटी में members रहते हैं, उनके नेम एंड नंबर्स दोनों डिस्प्ले करते हैं, ताकि अगर कभी भी कोई ऐसा इशू हो, the IC committee can be reached out very quickly, very efficiently. So I think these are the compliances, and the last secret that I'd like to leave you guys with, and this is a golden nugget, I repeat, non-compliance with POSH Act can absolutely lead to a fine of 50,000, and ये तब होता है अगर हमारी IC committee नहीं होती या POSH policy हमारी in place नहीं है, because there have been a lot of surprise checks that have been going on, and the act further in section 26 mandates that if there is a repeat offense, then the amount of punishment that has been instituted, that is 15,000, it would be doubled, and it can also very, very important, lead to cancellation of business license. So I would request each one of you to ensure that you are POSH compliant. So with that, I would thank you all for being a part of the session, and I hope you liked it. And we would be taking questions.
Thank you, Siddharth and SK Sharma ji. I think I was also making some notes, and I'm sure all of us were, because there's just so much of information and pearls of wisdom to be grabbed during the session. I know we had some initial troubles with the audio. I apologize to the audience for that, but I think we really made it up in time. We're almost out of time, in fact, but one, of course, I think this presentation through this recorded session would be available to all the audience members, so you can take note of it. Second, if the audience member have any specific scenario in their workplace, they can always, after today's session, write to us, and we'll be more than happy for you to be introduced to the speakers, and then you can discuss your specific case or clarify your queries with them on a need basis. And in terms of just wrapping it up, I think there are three takeaways for me personally. One, I think the way you have really structured it, I think the both of the panelists, is really interesting, and I think that lends a very clear clarity of thought to all the entrepreneurs to look at these labor codes. Second, I think those special nuggets and extra features which you mentioned in all the codes in terms of highlighting it, that non-compliance, the risk of non-compliance in terms of monetary amount, I think that gives us a sense of urgency to really relook and talk to our internal team members in terms of our compliances. And then third, obviously, I think in terms of training and how to make these labor compliances more and more evident in your organization, I think that's important. For example, specifically, Siddharth, you mentioned about POSH. You're so very right. It's not really discussed. It's always hush topic, but it's really thanks to you, I think a lot of us got awareness in terms of how to really implement it in spirit and not only in terms of the letter of the law. So thank you for sharing that. And I also wonder how things would be. SK Sharma ji and Siddharth, I work in the area of artificial intelligence, and people are talking about human-machine interface and how you would have humanoids being at workplace. And in South Korea specifically, and in some other parts of the Western world, people are talking about what would POSH look like. So if you have a humanoid who harasses a human or vice versa, what are the rights and privileges of such humanoids in such a scenario, which is pretty interesting and academic at this stage, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But who knows, 5 years from now, we are talking about labor compliance for AI-enabled bots at workplace.
Absolutely. Yes. Very rightly. As the world's progressing and technology is advancing, I think we're very, very soon going to have those laws.
And I'm sure you will be the experts. We'll reach out to you for a follow-up session. Thank you so much, both of you, for sparing time. And we will forward you specific queries from all the audience members in case they want to get in touch. We will connect you with them. And thank you so much, audience members, for joining in. I'm sure there's a lot to take away, but we will share the the presentation, and this video is available as an archive to view. With this, have a great weekend again ahead. Thanks so much. Please.
Just one request. I am sharing the feedback form of, barring the network connection. I believe that the presentation was quite on point. So I would urge all the members to actively fill in the feedback form. That would really help us improve and add more value to you.
Sure, we will do that. We will ensure that. We will share that to all the participants, and we'll ensure that they fill it. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.